city of lights. You're the sunshine on my mind. We're burning through the city of lights.
Hi everyone, welcome to the session titled How to Make the Most Out of EA Connect. We'll hear from Charlotte Darnell, who works on the community health team at the Center for Effective Altruism. She'll be providing us with some essential tips for navigating the conference weekend, including how to approach the conference, navigating the conference program, how to effectively network, using Swapcard efficiently, and we'll have some time for a Q&A for any conference questions you have. As a reminder, if you have any questions, you can submit them via the live interaction button on Swapcard. And we'll also have office hours immediately after this session in Gather Round if you have any further questions. So I'll now hand over to Charlotte.
Hello, everyone. It's so great to meet you all and see you here. Today I'm going to kind of run through the things Jordan just mentioned to help you make the most out of your conference. So we are going to cover a bit about goal setting, and I don't want to just talk at you, so I'm going to make you write down your goals a little bit. So you may want to grab a pen and paper or open a new tab so you're ready for that. But also going to cover a bit about networking, as Jordan said, and give you some tips to make it work well. Also, this conference is a busy one. There's lots on. So we're going to talk about how you can look after yourselves and ways that you can get support, whether it's with tech problems or anything else. In about 24 hours, I think, Julia is giving her Introduction to EA talk, which I really recommend checking out. But if you're eager and want somewhere to start, I'd recommend checking out this Introduction to EA. I'll add it to the questions at the end of the session so you can follow that link. But essentially, I think, EA is just a very simple set of ideas. It's about using the resources that I have to do the most good. And this requires both working out how to do the most good and acting on those answers. And many people in EA are focused a bit more on the research or maybe a bit more focused on the doing. But it really is a team effort. And it's so great to see such a range of people. When I was looking through Swapcard, seeing all the different skills and knowledge that people are bringing, which is really what we need to tackle the world's most pressing problems. Looking through, we've got software engineers, teachers, diplomats, chemical engineers, project managers, and we've got people from Portugal, Ghana, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Romania. Hopefully this is going to be a really good event for sharing knowledge, cross-pollination, and some nice motivation for doing good as well. In general, EA events like this one are about bringing together just this network of altruistic people, and working on some of the world's hardest problems is just really quite hard. So we really want attendees to make true connections and make contacts that they actually can reach out to after the conference, whether it's to share feedback, job opportunities, or collaborate, or just, find an accountability buddy to work on what you're working on. One thing that I often tell people about EA conferences is that the interactions aren't just transactional. People are very keen to share their knowledge and help each other do impactful work. So one thing I want to say is that if you're new to EA or perhaps the working world, please don't worry that you don't have anything directly to offer someone. Don't let that stop you from reaching out. Please go for it, ask questions, and be curious. So I think in David's opening session, he covered a bit of a whistle-stop tour of what's going on. But some key things that I'll talk a little bit more about are the meetings. We're experimenting with a bit of a new structure and tailoring this event to try and make it as valuable as possible for the wide range of experience and different people we've got attending. Most things are essentially the same, but meetings are a little bit different. So for the foundation path, you are able to book mentor meetings, which are short meetings with people who are specifically signing up to kind of share their knowledge, resources, kind of an overview of the space as well, and answer any questions you might have. And if you've been to an event before, then you'll be on the collaboration path where you can book what's called one-on-ones and just kind of share advice or like talk about kind of ongoing projects and things like that. Now, people on the collaboration path can also reach out to people on the foundation path. We're particularly keen for folks to really share ideas and connect so that we can do as much good as possible. So even if you're on the foundation path, keep a lookout. You may still get meeting requests from people who are hiring and who are interested in your skills, or people who are kind of looking through and think that they might have some good advice to offer you. As with all of the content, but also with the meetings, I'd really suggest doing stuff that's interesting and useful to you. Don't just go to stuff that you think you should go to or that like a lot of other people are going to. It's really about making the conference work for you. With that in mind, we're going to spend a bit of time now thinking about your EA Connect. Think about why you signed up. Why are you here? Even if you didn't have a super specific idea when you signed up, let's be ambitious. Let's think, okay, I'm here. What can I achieve from this event? But obviously, if it's your first time, you might wonder what kind of outcome that could be and how you might get there. So maybe you're newly exploring the EA space, or you're wrestling with pretty major uncertainties, perhaps about cause prioritization or the tractability of some interventions. For this, I'd really recommend considering what information you need to move forward. For this, attend talks in the cause areas that you're interested in. Perhaps you want to attend one on planning your career with the possibility of transformative AI progress in mind. Or you want to learn about what it's like to start a high impact charity. And I'd really encourage you to dig in further, ask questions in the office hours or in the Q&As, and then join meetups and reach out to people who are the experts in those fields to learn more. You can also ask for resources or courses that might help you learn a bit more and resolve your uncertainty. And yeah, accountability buddies are great. So you might want to meet someone who is also learning and new and kind of work on exploring the field together. We also have a lot of students here and some also very experienced professionals who are looking to transition their career and thinking about what kind of jobs might be impactful for them to work on. If that's you, please be sure to check out the jobs board, which has a bunch of jobs from people at the conference. And you can also go and talk to those people at the organization fair later today. But there are also various other jobs boards which will be linked on, I think, a resource that's linked off Swapcard, or I'll put them in the description here. And yeah, just have a look, see what's out there. And also don't limit yourself to existing listings. You can reach out to people and ask, yeah, what's a day like in your role? What kind of skills, if you were hiring, would you be looking for? I'd also recommend, if you have a specific skill or a specific background, reaching out to people who are in a similar space to you. If you're a consultant, maybe you want to talk to consultants for impact. If you're a doctor, reach out to high impact medicine. Or maybe you're interested in effective giving, then reach out to people who are interested in that. And hopefully you can get some advice that's really useful and gives you an overview of what considerations might be relevant. This is also true for where you're located. There are definitely different opportunities. For example, if you're doing policy, that will vary quite a lot by location. So try and find people who can, give you a bit more tailored advice. Now, I know a lot of you are also already in a role or much more certain about what's next. And so maybe a goal for you is getting very specific help or very specific feedback on existing projects or career plans. You might want to connect with funders or find a collaborator, or just hear about more of the latest research in your area. Some things I'd advise then are thinking about what would make you change your mind about the direction of what you're currently working on, and what kind of support or collaboration might you need, maybe not just now, but in future, to make your projects go extremely well. You might also just be thinking about, your money, your donations. How can you do the most good with those? And so there's various giving content that you can engage with. Maybe you want to check out the giving drive and also chat to a lot of people who have spent lots and lots of years thinking about donations at the conference. So that's enough of me talking. Whatever your situation, I would really encourage you to push yourself to imagine kind of ambitious and exciting outcomes. Try and work backwards, imagining, how would you feel on Tuesday if, X, Y, Z happened, and kind of backchain from there. I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes to kind of write down your goals. Make sure you put them in your Swapcard bio so that other people can help you, and try to make them very concrete. And then we will join back here in 5 minutes for some more tips. Nice. I hope that you have made some progress on thinking about your goals and put some details in your Swapcard profile. Uh, Now, some more tips. So, networking, as I've said, is a really, really big part of EA conferences. Connection is just so helpful and often where attendees say they find the most value. Now, especially if you're newer to EA ideas, then I would probably recommend attending a few more talks and kind of going to more of the content so that you can get up to speed. But I would still encourage you to have a look through the mentor list and see if anyone has a similar background or interest to you and reach out to them. If you've got some specific questions or uncertainties to figure out, try and narrow down the list of people on Swapcard. You can use a filter, you can search for keywords like engineer, or you can look at who else is attending the same sessions that you're interested in on the session page. Now, I do want to say some people get booked up quite a while before even the conference starts. So they've got a lot going on in their life maybe, or just a lot of requests. So please don't take things personally or be disheartened. There are just so many people here. It's really, really not a negative judgment of you or your potential impact if someone can't make a time. But having said that, please do reach out. Don't block yourself from opportunities, and you can trust other people to triage their time. And you might just be surprised how many people are happy to take the time or share resources with you. But things that really, really help with allowing people to decide if they have useful things to share with you or if they're deciding whether to book a meeting, is if you have a good filled out Swapcard profile. Add a bit about your background, what skills you have. Really helps if you add a profile picture. Now, be honest because it really helps people calibrate the level of advice they want to give. And experienced folks know that there's a lot of newcomers for this event and they've chosen to be here. So please don't worry that you seem very beginner. Just signal that in your profile and people can do their best to help you. One other thing about profiles that I'll quickly mention is that I know a lot of people have found value from the affinity groups. It's completely optional, but I know that, challenges like navigating being a woman in a very male-dominated industry or kind of thinking about neurodiversity, parenthood, or disability and chronic illness can really sometimes be nice to talk about with someone who has the same context, given it can actually be quite relevant to decisions about careers or donations, things like that. As I say, completely optional, but that's one thing for you to maybe check out if any of those apply to you. So my next tip is to take notes during the conference. Sounds obvious, but a lot of people say, oh man, I had loads of meetings or I went to a lot of content and I actually can't remember what we talked about or that link that they mentioned. Yeah, please remember to write things down and then you can actually follow up on things that you've said you will follow up on. One of the ways I like to make sure I have time to do this is block out times for a break. I can reflect, change my mind, tidy my notes. And it's also really good to check in with yourself about what you think. Maybe you're beginning to change your mind on something, but it's good to reflect, think about it. You're the expert on your life and career. So to block your availability on Swapcard, there's a few different options. It's not the smoothest process, but hopefully this diagram will kind of point you in the right direction of where to go. One thing that I do want to flag is that Swapcard doesn't automatically block out meeting times for the sessions that you've bookmarked. So you will have to do that manually. So for example, if you want to attend this talk and you haven't blocked out this time on your availability, someone could have tried to schedule a mentor meeting with you. I'd also really recommend trying to sync Swapcard with your calendar. I believe you can do it for Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, and a few others. And so, yeah, that's a pretty handy way to keep up to date with what's going on, or you can do a more static export of your schedule to your calendar too. Speaking of calendars, one thing that I will also recommend is right now putting a reminder in your calendar for sometime next week to think about the follow-ups, think about the action items that you plan to do. In the excitement of the conference, it feels very motivating, but in the sort of big to-do list of normal life, it can be a bit harder to make that time. So put it in your calendar and then you won't forget. Now, there's a lot of advice in the world about how to network. I think, if you're wondering what to say, there's a lot of examples and things like that on the internet. But for an EA conference, essentially, it boils down to what information will help them to help you. So this is information about you and your background, so they know kind of how technical or beginner-friendly advice should be and what you want help with. Ideally, the more concrete a question, the better. But also remember to keep it concise so that they're more likely to read the whole thing. There's a great post, a blog post by Neil Nanda and Jemima that honestly I think just has a great structure. And so this is something you might want to follow. But also it's more chill sometimes just to chat to people who you think you might have something in common with, and you don't need such a structured message for that. You could just say something like, hey, I think we have similar interests and I thought it might be nice to connect. Would you be interested in a call sometime? I'd love to hear about your EA journey, things like that. So yeah, try and tailor it to kind of who you're reaching out to, and don't stress. It's better to send the message than to not send it. So I've put just a couple of examples on the screen, and I will go back to the slide with the structure in a second, but we're going to take just a few minutes now to make sure that you've reached out to someone or at least gone through the mentor list to kind of see if there is anyone who would be suitable to give you some advice. They don't have to be, the exact match or in the exact area that you're in, but have a little bit of a scan and see if there's someone that you want to reach out to. We'll come back in just under 5 minutes and talk a bit more. Thanks, guys. Nice. I hope that was a helpful exercise. I would really recommend spending a bit more time on this at some point over the weekend as well. But as I said, it's a very busy weekend. There's lots to do. Definitely, please don't try to go to everything. Things will be recorded, so you can come back to things that you want to. Now, screen fatigue is real. So take breaks, make sure you wander around, get some water, get a snack. It will help you focus and make it be a more productive conference overall. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, these are really big, stressful issues, maybe feeling anxious, there's a lot of people here, or if you have some kind of interaction that makes you a bit uncomfortable, then we have community contacts at the conference who are here especially to support you. I am one of them, hello. But we also have the wonderful Catherine, and Rika has also stepped in to make sure we have even more capacity for such a big event. You can contact us by going to the help desk and then clicking community health, and whoever is awake and in the right time zone will do their best to listen and to support you. You can also use this get help button to talk to the moderators and ask either general questions or raise any content that you think shouldn't be there. And for more technical questions about Gather Round or about Swapcard, you can reach out to the tech support desk. Now, I have spoken about how much people at EA events are friendly, willing to help. You should reach out. Please be one of those people. Be kind, be patient, be professional in your interactions with others. Be generous with your help and your advice. You've got a lot of information and thoughts to give. Good questions are also something that's really valuable for people. So please do also view yourself as someone who can give to other attendees. Now, I also want to flag that I really want people to give constructive feedback kindly. There are a lot of problems to solve. Everyone has to make choices with pretty limited information. So when someone's priorities differ from yours, please approach it with curiosity rather than judgment. And do give feedback, it's useful, but just be gentle in how you do that. It's really important to balance, impact goals and personal needs and constraints. So yeah, please remember that you have far less context than other people do about their lives. And some of this may be private, so they may not share it with you. So be patient, be open, and yeah, just have really interesting chats. I also want to flag on the subject of interesting chats that a lot of these topics are so interesting, philosophical, debatey, that it's very easy to kind of get caught up in the academic side of it all. But I would like to remind you that, yeah, there are real people, real animals, and sometimes very real suffering that is, at the heart of these issues. So please keep that in mind in your discussion. Now, I've covered quite a lot today and quite quickly so that we can get to questions. I definitely won't have covered everything, so please do reach out if you have any more questions either during this session or afterwards. Now, I have some kind of things I'd like to say. Basically, there's no right way to do EA Connect. Please follow your goals. Please think about what makes the most sense for you. And yeah, go to content that is going to push you and stretch you. And yeah. So lastly, the Center for Effective Altruism, which is the organization running this conference, we are doing our best to support EA and steward it, but we definitely don't own it. Ultimately, it's just a set of ideas, a set of questions about how to do the most good. And it's a community trying to figure that out together. So you don't need to agree with everything. In fact, we really don't want you to agree with everything. Think critically, notice gaps, or think about ways that things could be better. And you can't wait for permission to start working on these issues. The world's challenges, urgently need smart and motivated people to work on them from many different angles. So please be agentic. If you see a gap, consider filling it, or think about what skills you need to build in order to fill similar gaps in future. Being agentic also doesn't mean being reckless. So given these problems are high stakes and pretty complex, please do seek out advice, seek out feedback, especially from people with the relevant experience. Start small, test your assumptions, and be willing to change course based on evidence. And, actually try and find that evidence. This is something people might be able to help you with. What kind of evidence could I find to make decisions here? It's also important to think carefully about downside risk. but also about upsides and, what value is left on the table if we don't do something. And yeah, it's really important for all of these things to collaborate rather than duplicating efforts. Overall, this conference is designed to try and help you find those resources, to try and help you find those advisors, those collaborators. It really is at the heart of it all about connecting. So on that note, I hope you have a wonderful EA Connect. We have a lot of time for questions now. And yeah, let's go over to Jordan and do some questions.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Yeah, we have some time for questions. There's not many that have come through on Swapcard, so please, just a reminder, there's little questions button should be down in the right-hand corner of this session. And yeah, if you have any questions for Charlotte or for the team, you can send them in there. Our lovely moderator Dion has already answered a few of the questions that have come in. So yeah, I won't spend too much time covering those. Let's see if there's any others. Yeah, I think most of these questions are technical. Charlotte, I'm not sure if you feel like you're well placed to answer some of the technical questions about how the conference works.
Hit me, I'll give it a go.
Yes, let's see. People asking if the events are recorded, which I believe you did mention.
Yeah, I think most talks will be recorded. Potentially a speaker might choose to not have theirs recorded, but at least for the duration of the conference, I believe they'll be recorded.
Yeah. And somebody's asking how long those recordings would be available. Yeah, I think they'll be available as long as they're up on our YouTube channel. Yeah, so quite a while into the future.
That's actually a great point. So a resource that I wanted to flag is that we have a lot of videos from past conferences uploaded on our YouTube channel. You can do a deep dive on a bunch of videos on animal welfare, or you could maybe, go and look at the latest Nigeria summit and see some of the videos about like how they're thinking about AI, if that's relevant to you. So yeah, do check that out as well if it might be useful for finding stuff that's more relevant to your specific context.
Yeah, great recommendation. Yeah, somebody asked, is there a way to set up one-on-ones with mentors after the conference finishes? Yeah, for example, if they didn't manage to find time during Connect.
So I think there's no official way, but if this is the case, I would recommend just a polite message to the mentor that you're keen to reach out to and say like, hi, there's no times that we're both free during the conference. It's completely up to you, but I would be excited about having a meeting afterwards if you are willing. And then maybe if you have a Calendly or like some other scheduling tool, you can send that. Or yeah, you can arrange it via DM. But I think for the most part, we are planning to just have the meetings during the conference. And it'll be, up to the mentor if they're keen for that.
Great. Somebody else is asking about accountability buddies, which you mentioned. They're asking, is there a framework that you would recommend using for that? Finding accountability buddies.
Yeah, that is a good question. I think it a bit depends on, like everything, a bit depends on your context. But one thing you could consider doing is if there's a specific course or like a set of readings that you want to work through, maybe you could post about that in either like on the EA forum or in one of the meetups or speed meetings. You could chat to people and say, oh, I'm thinking of doing this. Like, do you want to be my buddy? And perhaps you want to have scheduled meetings, every week for 6 weeks to do that, or something a bit more organic. And there's probably lots of other formats too. Like maybe you just check in 6 months' time with someone to see, we went to this conference, we agreed we would do all these things. How's it going? But yeah, I think trying to find people that are doing similar things to you and just asking them really.
Yeah, sounds great. Somebody has asked a very interesting question. They said, if you have multiple interests while also actively trying to transition into EA, how would you best navigate that?
That is a very good question. So I think actually this is a really cool opportunity. Having lots of different interests means you can really think about comparative advantage and what kind of things might be the best fit for you. Um, I think one piece of advice that I got early on in my career was to do little experiments, and I found this really helpful. A lot of EA kind of adjacent jobs do some like work trials where you kind of have to do some tasks that are similar to what you would do in the job. And even that, like I found really helpful for trying to see if, yeah, I would enjoy that work. They're testing you, but you're also testing your fit for them. But this isn't just in like kind of job applications. This might be in kind of, yeah, running one reading group on that topic or trying to do like some kind of mini project on the thing that replicates a bit of what you might end up doing. It's a lot easier to do, a few cheap tests and realize quickly that you really don't want to do something than sink 2 years into a thing and be like, actually, this is really not for me. So yeah, doing cheap tests, iterating, getting advice, getting feedback, yeah, is kind of what I would recommend there. And also, yeah, being flexible to different opportunities. A lot of these areas cross over, like there's a lot of discussion about like how AI will interact with animal welfare. So maybe, if you're at the cross section of those and interested in both, that might be your comparative advantage to kind of help communicate between the two.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you. A couple of people are curious about the organization fair. Do you have any tips for navigating that and making the most out of it?
Yeah. So maybe on the kind of practical side, the way that it works is you kind of click organization fair and you should be able to click on the organization slot. And then there'll be a button that takes you to Gather Round, which is one of the platforms we're using for this event. And you can just kind of ask written questions to the organizations and they'll respond. They might, pop over to get some water or something, so they might not respond immediately, but they will be able to do the best to answer your questions. It might be good to prepare some of those questions in advance, like some of the things I mentioned earlier in my talk, kind of, what would a job in, this bit of your organization look like? What kind of skills would I need? Or what backgrounds do your other employees have? That could be good if you're thinking about job seeking. But I think also if you're just kind of curious, you can ask them more about what they do or what challenges they've been facing recently or something they've changed trajectory or changed their mind about. I think it depends what you're after really, but kind of just go ask your questions and go from there.
Cool, thank you. Another great question. Is there a way to create a local EA community?
Oh, wonderful question. Yeah, agenticness, we love it. Yeah, so as kind of people who are trying to steward the EA community, the Center for Effective Altruism has a bunch of resources for starting a local group. I think they will be shared in kind of the resources page, but also if you kind of Google like Effective Altruism start a group, there you should be able to find it. And yeah, we don't own EA. You can start a group. You can kind of maybe post a bit on social media or like go on kind of Slacks or group things in your area and see if people are interested. And as I say, do a cheap test. Maybe just do one talk, invite someone to speak, see if there's interest in that. And then from the attendees there, you could kind of talk about if you want to make it a regular thing. But we have groups in lots and lots of places all over the globe now, which is so exciting. And I think on the EA forum, or like on the website somewhere, there's a find your local group thing, and you can see where different groups are. So there might already be a group nearby you that you can engage in. So I'd recommend checking that out. But yeah, we can support you if you're interested in starting something.
Great. I think that's about it for the questions that have come in. So I would suggest that maybe we should head on over to office hours so we can have some more casual conversations with attendees.
Yeah, that works for me. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful conference. And do feel free to reach out for help. Yeah, there's a lot of people here with the main purpose of helping you guys out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Thanks. Bye.